Welcome to Sociology in 1 minute. My name is Odi Godwin Agbaka, a student of the prestigious University of Calabar, UNICAL, Department of Sociology. Get your pen, your papers ready because today we're about to delve into the 3 stages of human progress of human development by Auguste Comté, who was viewed as the father of sociology. And please don't forget to like, to share, to comment, and most importantly, to subscribe to my channel. Thank you. It is important to note that Auguste Comté was viewed as an evolutionist scientist. His theory was basically based on evolution, that is simply the change of organisms from simple to complex. And evolution, according to Auguste Comté, is simply a method of acquiring knowledge and also the effect of the knowledge itself. So when you ask a layman, what is positivism? Positivism is simply based on the philosophical belief that we cannot gain knowledge of anything but observable phenomenon, right? Phenomenon that is based on scientific observation that can be tested and retested and checked beyond reasonable doubt. As I've mentioned, the scientific method accumulated or brought about the study of math, astronomy, biology, chemistry, physics, which invariably altogether they affected sociology as a discipline, which is the study of society, the social institution, and its intricacies, as we can see. And progress is actually possible through social order in the society, and that is why Auguste Comté is viewed as an evolutionist. And questions in the scientific knowledge or ideas are basically centered on it being testable and researchable by nature. So that is the key things we need to know about positivism. So it is also noteworthy to state here that Auguste Comté's perspective on positivism, he simply states that society is divided into two, that is the social statics and the social dynamic. The social static centers on the social structure or social institution of the society, while the social dynamics centers on progress, the change that is evident in every society. And the evolutionist perspective centers basically on change, on growth, and on development. So, and then one thing we need to point out here is there were some movements that led to the emergence of positivism, and that is the Industrial Revolution, the Renaissance era, and the Enlightenment era too. So those era, they accumulated or brought about positivism as an ideology. Sometimes I get these questions like, how do you differentiate between positivism or Auguste Comté's perspective and that of Karl Marx's perspective? It's basically simple. Karl Marx's perspective is materialistic by nature, which centered on the dissension of power, marginalization, inequality between the bourgeois and the proletariats, the haves and the have-not, which all make up the social conflict theory. And then Auguste Comté's perspective is more or less tilted towards idealism, which is a philosophical school of thought that states that whatever exists must be in some sense of the mind. So under idealism, we have George Berkeley, if you talk about subjective idealism, and Plato, when you talk about metaphysical idealism. And also Auguste Comté's perspective centered on, since it's on evolution, is centered on why some society developed and other society withered and died away or declined. So that is the evolution we're talking about. Let's delve right on into the 3 stages of human growth, human progress, or human development. So Auguste Comté divided it into 3. We have the theological stage, the metaphysical stage, and the positivist or scientific stage. In the theological stage, different social phenomena, occurrence, social problems, and facts, and etc., they were explained through natural phenomena like God, spirit, beliefs in trees, animism, and etc. And then the theological stage is further divided into 3: fetihism, polytheism, and monotheism. So fetihism is a philosophy in which human bestows godlike power on inanimate objects such as the cap I'm wearing, my shirt, the door, the bag, the shoes, and practically everything that surrounds us as human. And also, the family as a social institution is a typical unit in the theological stage. Then the metaphysical stage, the society, is another unit. And finally, the positivist or scientific stage, the human race, is an indivisible unit right there. Theism is simply the creation of belief in multiple gods, more than one god. So we talk about religions like Taoism, Shantoism, Santeria, and etc. And also, monotheism is the belief in one single god. Religions like Christianity, Islam, Judaism. Also, what is important for us to note right here is in the theological stage, it was ruled by priests and military men, right? And the metaphysical stage was ruled by clergymen and lawyers. And then the positivist or scientific stage was ruled by scientists. We can also see here that Auguste Comté stated clearly that the increase in population and also the division of labor affects the evolution of the society. When we compare that side by side to Karl Marx's perspective that states that society evolved from the primitive savage era to that of feudalism, that is the identification of landed properties. You have the lords, the vassals, and the serfs, moved right on to slavery, then to communism and socialism. We can see that at a certain point in time, there was a disequilibrium between the metaphysical stage and that of the scientific stage. So that is, the scientists, they replaced the clergymen, the businessmen, and etc. And those set of persons in return, they also replaced the warriors. We move right on to the second stage. Remember, we said, if I didn't mention it, the theological stage is the first, which is the earlier stage. Now, the metaphysical stage simply states that natural phenomena were actually explained through abstract or philosophical concept. It was a transitional stage. There was a gradual decline in the belief in supernatural powers. The last, the most complex and final stage is the positivist stage. It is the most advanced of all stages, and it is simply the reliance in science, in observation, in experiment, so as to understand the complex world in which we live in as humans. So basically, they uncover the laws that govern the physical world or behaviors of humans, which is based on reasoning. Yes. And what is important for us to note right here is, in the first stage, the theological stage, there were some key questions in which humans, they used to ask at that point in time, like questions like, what's my purpose in life? Why was I born? Why is the earth this way? Why do people die? Why are people born? Yes, those were important questions then. To bring our discussion to a close, it is important to note right here that positivism as a perspective or an ideology itself requires qualitative research, valid questionnaire, official statistics, and etc. We're going to delve right on into that in subsequent lessons. And also, for any theory, perspective, ideology, positivism is also criticized for reductionism. Right, that is, it reduces social fact, social events to basically science. It is simplistic in nature. Thank you for watching once again. My name is Auguste Comté, and see you next time, probably when we have an interesting topic to talk about. And remember, this is sociology in 1 minute. I exceeded 1 minute though.